We here at Mayhem Media
understand the trials and tribulations of life.
No matter how hard life can get.
Suicide is never the answer.
There's more assistance available today than ever before.
If you or a loved one are suffering from suicidal thoughts, please don't try and take it on alone.
Call or text 988 if you live in the U.S.
Or if you're in Great Britain, call 116123 or text 85258.
The world is a better place with you in it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mayhemtainment. I am your host, the bad guy of podcasting, JD, and I am being joined by another independent wrestler from Aftermath Pro Wrestling. He is, I'm going to have to say this, we'll talk about it in a second, but he is the self-proclaimed savior of pro wrestling, Chad Casey.
That's exactly right.
Thank you for coming on, Chad. We appreciate it much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's start right off with your nickname here, the savior of pro wrestling. How did you get that? Where did you get it? And tell us a little bit about that first.
It's really just something that I just come up with. There's not really much of a backstory. Like I wanted to heal.
I was just about to ask, you're a heel, right?
Yeah, I wanted a heel gimmick, and I was like, what could just absolutely make the crowd hate me? And I was like, maybe if I tap into religious. I was like, I could self-proclaim myself as the savior of wrestling. I'm saving the business and purifying the ring in my view.
Yeah.
Regardless of what anybody else wants.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's pretty good. And I was just going to say, with that kind of a nickname, I assumed you'd have to be a heel.
Yes.
Do you like being a heel as opposed to a babyface?
I do.
Bad guys always have more fun, right?
Yes. I mean, as a babyface, like you get the kids, but it's also, for me, it's just as much fun to talk trash to the kids.
Yeah.
And get a rile out of them as it is to have them cheer for you and love you. I just love it.
As long as they're booing or cheering, right? As long as they're doing one or the other, that's all that matters. Now, have you gotten anywhere where even though you're a heel, you're still cheered?
I did at Aftermath's first event in Lesage. I had one person in the crowd who had my t-shirt on, and he cheered me during my entrance and then booed me as I got to him. And I was like, you have my shirt on. Like, how are you booing me right now? Like, you should be praising me.
Yeah.
And then I had another woman on the opposite side of the crowd in that at that show that she was cheering me, and then her son was booing me. So he had a sign that said that I couldn't save anything, so I stole it from him and ripped it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it hard? You were talking about your t-shirts and stuff. Is it, and I would imagine it would have to be, is it harder to get merch sales when you're a heel than when you're a baby face?
Yes. You definitely have to make them respect the hate that they have for you. The more that they can respect the hate, the more that they're willing to come up and buy something from you.
Yeah. Does that make it? I mean, I guess that's a little bit more I said earlier that it's heels get to have more fun, but you also, I guess, got to work harder then for that to translate from to your apparel sales and stuff like
Yes.
that, and your other
Yes.
venues having people follow you and stuff like that. It's got to be harder for you. Then you really got to put in the work to show that you're a good wrestler, not just that you're not out there just to get booed, but you can actually go in the ring.
Absolutely. Like thankfully for me, like my very first match with Aftermath, I got put in the ring with Titan Troy. Hands down, like one of the best in the business. Not in the area, I mean, just in the business. And I got to go toe to toe with him, and I took him to the limit. If it wasn't for the woman who was actually cheering for me in the crowd, like distracting me, I'd have won that match. But
I gotcha. But Titan Troy managed to pull one over on you.
Yes,
I would love to see that match. I think from what I've heard about Titan Troy, I think I'd like to see him wrestle just about anybody. But I looked at a little bit of stuff, at least some pictures and stuff. There's not a whole lot of video out there in the indies at the moment, especially Aftermath Pros just getting ready to get started out, though they do have avenues and stuff where they're going to be posting their content. So I can't wait for more shows to get out and to be able to see more of your guys' roster, the Aftermath Pro roster, and what you guys can do in the ring. So what type of wrestler are you? We know that Titan Troy is like a mat wrestler, the grappling technician and stuff like that. What is your style in the ring?
I'm more of a physical brute. Like I think, like I'm a bigger guy. I think more like Samoa Joe type, Bray Wyatt, Kane. Like I style a lot of my moves and my movements and everything from those three in particular.
Okay, well, that answers the question of where you get some of your wrestling inspiration from those wrestlers. How long have you been a fan of wrestling?
Since I was 9 years old. So I'm going on. I just turned 30 last week, so I'm going on 21 years.
Yeah. Do you have a preference on what was your favorite back then and what's your favorite now in terms of mainstream wrestling?
So I've always been a WWE fan. I actually, when I started watching wrestling, I started with WWE. My very first match was Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero in a steel cage on SmackDown. That made me absolutely fall in love with wrestling. And then I started following it ever since. And then I added TNA to my list and fell in love with TNA, followed them through all the good, all the bad, back to now. I feel like this is the good again.
I would agree.
I dabble in AEW a little bit.
I'm an AEW fan. That's my show of choice is AEW. I've never been a WWE fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not a fan of what they put on. They're and I use this term. I'm going to start using it more often because I think it really specifies the difference between the companies. WWE is sports entertainment, and they do it better than anybody else in the world right now. There's no question about that. But I'm a professional wrestling fan, so I like to turn on TNA or AEW or Ring of Honor. That's just I was always a WCW guy, never a WWE guy. Always a WCW guy. I guess that's probably a little before your time.
Yes. I still go back and I watch some of the old WCW stuff. I was a big Sting fan.
That's my favorite.
That's actually my mom's favorite wrestler, Sting, and I got to take her to a convention and meet him. So
nice.
That was really cool. He's super down to earth. Didn't really rush you, even though he was like short on time. But I mean, he made you feel welcome.
From what I understand, he's one of the nicest people in the business. Is Sting. So I got to see him wrestle. I didn't actually ever get to meet him yet, but I did get to see him wrestle live at a house show here locally in my area. So that was pretty sweet. And I got to watch him wrestle Ric Flair at that.
Oh, okay. That's a dream match to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting to see that live was pretty cool. Even though it was a house show, it was only probably about 15 or 16 minutes long, but it was still, I went crazy because he wasn't even supposed to be on the card. At the time, Sid Vicious was the world champion. and he was supposed to wrestle Ric Flair, but Sid Vicious, due to injury or something, wasn't able to make it, and they had Sting fill in. So it was the main event. I went crazy, so it was all good. I was happier to see Sting than Sid Vicious anyway.
Absolutely.
So who was your favorite back then? Or was it Ray and Eddie because of the catching you?
So to start, it was Ray, and like I'd watch some Goldberg stuff. That's a very hot take. I just really like the Smash Mouth. Just I'm stronger and I'm better than you that he had. So I just kind of fell in love with him. But I really liked Ray and Eddie. Big Chris Benoit fan.
Me too.
Inside the ring, outside the ring, it's a whole different story.
Obviously. Yeah, that goes without saying at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with people saying that they were a Chris Benoit fan. You can't deny what he was capable of and what he could do in the ring. It's just stupid to try and deny that. So you can't just pretend someone doesn't exist.
And then when I started watching TNA, obviously Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels was another big one that I really enjoyed. I still enjoy him. Wish he would actually come back and wrestle and get out of retirement, but
I think he's happy. It looks like some of these guys who've always been more in the indie scene, not mainstream WWE guys, they seem to have found a home in AEW, and seems like Tony Khan's hiring some of them to help him in the back, run the back and stuff. And I think that's perfect. I think Christopher Daniels is going to be a great person to help with whatever he's doing in the back. How important is that, the locker room for a wrestling company, a wrestling show?
I think it's the bread and butter. If you have a terrible locker room, I honestly feel like your product's gonna be terrible. Because I mean, like walking through the curtain, it's an out of body experience for me. Like I can have anxiety getting to the curtain, and as soon as I walk out the curtain, it's an out of body experience. But I feel like just having a terrible locker room, I don't feel like you're going to get that. You're going to have some kind of that coming with you to the ring, and then you're not going to give it your best.
Yeah, I think that's a real good point there, that the chemistry, even though you're wrestling each other, that takes chemistry, that takes trust, it takes conversation and understanding, and you need to have a relationship with everybody that you're going to potentially wrestle in the back.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite match type or a favorite match that in your wrestling career?
So far I've not wrestled any like gimmick matches.
Okay.
No stipulations or anything like that. I've wrestled a singles match, a tag team match, a triple threat. So pretty basic stuff. I've always been a fan of the steel cage and the ladder match. I like the violence. I like the unpredictability of it.
Do you consider yourself a hardcore person, or do you only like it in a certain context of a specific match type or something?
I'd say a little bit of both. I feel like there's definitely a time and place for it, and it can definitely get like overused. I feel like that with like bleeding and everything. John Moxley, like I love his work. He bleeds too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it takes away that awe factor.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If you see it too often, that's people shouldn't bleed every time. It should only bleed. And I was talking with Brox Boulder about this, and he even said at the same time, like bleeding, everything has to be in context and under the right situation, right? You have a steel cage match with somebody and you're throwing their face and grinding it against the steel cage and they're not bleeding. That doesn't really fit with the story either.
Right.
So yeah, I think everybody, you don't have to adjust your internet connections or your social media feeds. Chad Casey is in Aftermath Pro. So is Titan Troy. And Brox Boulder is the one who runs that place, so it's completely normal that we're going to hear some of the same answers from everybody in the Aftermath Pro. That's just, I would imagine that's going to be the way it is. When you have a teacher who's teaching you stuff, you tend to kind of side with some of the stuff they believe in anyway. So
absolutely.
And I'm so excited for you guys at Aftermath Pro. I can't wait to see what the next 12 months has in store for you guys. You guys got a lot of stuff in place already that other indie companies who are running shows don't even have. You guys have a commentary team. You have a place to put your events online after you do them and record them. I think that puts you guys way ahead of the curve on that front. So I'm so excited for Aftermath Pro, and because it's just different. Everything you guys are doing it feels different than any other indie company that's going right now, in my opinion.
Thank you. We all definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm seeing. I want everybody to go check it out too. They've only had one show so far. They got a second show coming up here soon.
This Saturday, June 13th.
Saturday. Yeah, June 13th. That's right. This Saturday. So if you're watching this, we're releasing it on Friday. So unfortunately, it's only one day. But we've had Brox Boulder on and Titan Troy on and been saying in another episode. So if you're in the area, go check it out because you want to watch Aftermath Pro. And I will be sharing out where their YouTube content and where their stuff can be found on the page as well. So make sure you follow along and make sure you check all that stuff out because it's going to be good stuff. They're going to put on good stuff. So other than wrestling, what do you like to do with your life or in your life? Do you have a real job? I don't want to say a real job. That's not the right word. A 9-to-5er that pays the bills other than wrestling.
Yes, I'm a delivery driver for an industrial supply company in my area. We are one of the biggest industrial supply companies in our area, actually, and I get the pleasure to go in every day and deliver in the West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky tri-state area.
Nice. So you get to do some traveling.
Yes.
Truck driver.
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. How's that scheduled? I guess, does that give you work with your schedule for wrestling and
yes.
everything?
I work Monday through Friday. I go in at 7:50 a.m. and then I leave at 4 p.m. So
okay.
Gives me plenty of time to be able to go to training, get to my events on the weekends, or if we have an event during the week, I can still get to it. And they're really lenient if I need to leave early. I can always go in and clock in early, so I can leave early and get to wherever I need to be. Yeah,
well, that's always a nice thing. So, all right, what else do you do then besides a regular job? Do you have any other hobbies or anything you would like to share with the viewers?
So I've written a book and published it. It's actually sitting to my right.
Yeah,
camera to my left. It's called
Okay. Now the screen's not big enough. What in the heck?
I got you.
Yeah, there you go. Interesting. And what is this about?
This is a baseball romance book.
Okay.
The main character's name is Colin Richardson. You kind of travel through his life from his senior year of college and trying to get his love life figured out as well as getting drafted. Then it skips 5 years after chapter 1 and you get to see him, whether or not he makes it in the pros and whether or not he figures out his love life.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. That's interesting. Okay, cool. When did you publish that?
I published this in late May. I've been working on it for the past 2 years. I'd say it might not have been late May, probably middle of May, around the 15th. I started on it 10 years. Yes. I started on it 10 years ago with an idea and kind of threw it out to my fiance at the time. She's no longer my fiance, and she didn't like the idea for personal reasons. And I was like, okay, well, so I kind of put it to the side, brought it back 2 years ago, and kind of threw it out to my now fiance, and she loved the idea. She goes, absolutely, you got to run with it.
Yeah, seems like you might have been a blessing there in disguise. Perhaps.
Yes, for sure.
They always are. Trust me.
Yes.
So, other than you write books, what else do you do? You wrestle, you drive trucks, and you write books. What else?
So I do wrestling stop motion animation. So I take an action figure and I move it centimeter by centimeter, and then I make them walk, I make them talk, I make them punch, kick, and they wrestle.
Wow!
And I put it all together. A stop motion match can take anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000 pictures, entrances, matches, post-match celebration, and then an hour to 3 hours worth of editing.
Dang.
And then I make custom action figures as well.
Wow.
So I've made pretty much probably half of the Aftermath roster by now.
Wow. Where do you get time for all this? And can you share your secret with me, please?
I honestly wish I knew. As soon as I get home from work, I eat a quick dinner, and then I typically go out to my garage and I start working on wrestling action figures, customizing them, doing whatever like comes into my mind on who I want to make next, and then I scoot over to my arena that I have set up out there, and I just start filming.
That's crazy, especially your stop motion. I'm sorry, I totally drawn a blank on what you called it. Your
stop motion animation.
Thank you, stop motion animation. That's crazy to me. I mean, I've seen that stuff, and I'm like, you got to have. Listen, I have some patience, and I have some dedication. I guess it's each. Everybody has their own thing. Like, I'll sit. I'm a poker player, so I'll sit 6 hours, 8 hours is nothing for me to sit there and grind it out while I'm playing poker. That's nothing. You sit down, and then before you know it, it's morning. That's nothing. But I couldn't even imagine that trying to do the stop motion animation. That's a little beyond. I can't even no. The first time I knocked somebody over or got something out of position the wrong way, I'd be like, nope, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, it's very frustrating. I've been doing this since 2009.
Wow.
So that was like late 2008, started 2009.
Wow.
And like I've taken some very lengthy breaks. I took a 10-year break, and I was still filming, but it wasn't up to my standard. When I was posting regularly, I had like 700 or so subscribers on YouTube, and I had people from all over the country and the world, actually, and people were enjoying it. So my pride got in the way of my filming, because I'm like, okay, people want to see it. People are invested in my stories and my show and my characters, and so I got to be a very big perfectionist, which I already am anyway, but that made it even worse. So if I watched it back, I'd do an entrance, and then I'd watch it back, and I'm like, it's not good enough. So I'd scrap the whole thing, redo it, and then I got burnt out, and it was like, okay. So I come back last year and started filming, and I put out a 10-minute match, which was 4,500 and some pictures just for the match itself. And then I took another 500 for the entrances and the post-match celebration, which ended up putting it at like almost 14 minutes long.
Wow. I'm trying to visualize that in my head right now, of you moving, like just moving him a couple centimeters and then taking another picture, and then moving in another centimeters and taking a picture. Man, like I said, that takes a different type of dedication on that one. I sit and play with my video editing and stuff, and even sometimes that makes me frustrated. I'm like, nope, that's it, walk away.
Yeah. I mean, I've had them fall over on me right when I'm getting ready to click the button to take the picture, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I'll be halfway through an entrance, or I'll be like a good way through a move, and I have to pull up the previous picture, and I'm like, okay, I think it was there, and then
Oh.
and if not, if I can't get it to where it was almost at, then I have to restart that whole entire
Oh.
sequence or entrance or whatever, and it's very frustrating.
Frustrating.
I've yelled a bunch. I've threw action figures across the room.
The fact that you haven't burned anything down, I think, is a testimony to your patience, because I'd have been burning neighborhoods down to the ground. I'd be like, no, that's it, everything goes. So yeah, that's really crazy. What is your YouTube channel for that?
It's Pac-Man CC 300. Pac-Man, like as in Packers, so PACK.
Okay.
Not like Pac-Man the video game. CC 300. It's also under PSW.
PSW.
Yes, the latest episodes or the matches that I put out is Test the Limits. It was my inaugural pay-per-view for the PSW show. I decided last year when I come back to filming, I was like, I'm just going to restart everything. Brand new custom built arena. I actually built 2 walls in my garage and like walled off a whole arena, put a big backdrop, a crowd, put barricades up, a handmade stage. I did the works. And
I'm definitely gonna, if nothing else, I'm gonna be going to check out this motion capture animation, because I gotta see one. I did not know that you did that until before, like right when we were talking before the episode. So I did not see that before you came on. I can't wait to see that though. I can't. I'm sorry. I know I've said it a couple times. That's just crazy to me. Trying to do that is just beyond my comprehension level. I couldn't even just trying to think about it is making me anxious, and
yeah,
something over.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience. Some days I have it, some days I don't.
How do you do like action moves, like a body slam or a vertical suplex?
So I used to only use fishing string. You put it around their arms or their head or whatever.
Wow.
And that keeps your hand out of the way. And so like the figure will be here, your hand's up here out of the picture, and you're just holding the string. And it's thin enough, like they can sometimes the camera angle or whatever, the lighting, you can see it a little bit. It's not a huge deal for me. Some people edit it out. I don't. That's just a lot of editing on my part.
More than you're already doing.
Yes, because let's take a body slam for instance. You're looking at probably 20 pictures just to get them scooped up.
Yeah,
and you're looking at another 20 to slam them down. Probably 15 to sell it. And that's not a whole lot of pictures for editing wise, but when you have a whole match worth, it's like, I'll edit out the real noticeable ones, and then the other ones can just sit there.
Yeah. You just said it takes 50 pictures basically to do a body slam, including the full slam and the sell afterwards. So
yeah, and here recently when I started back up, I kind of watched some other YouTubers do their wrestling stop motions and just seeing what they were doing now, just to kind of add it to mine and like get with the times now versus what they were when I was doing it regularly. And people are using like sticky putty to put on the wrestlers' feet so they don't like swing around on the mat, and they kind of stay in place. So that way at least one of your figures doesn't fall down and mess everything up.
Yeah.
And it's been a game changer. And then I've found that using like clear rubber bands, like for braces, to hold the braces together or whatever, that dentists use, I found that they are really helpful in like suplexes and like other moves. You can put it around the arms and the legs to attach the wrestlers together, and kind of helps them like stay together so they don't fall and move or whatever when you're trying to like get them up like one arm, like an arm drag or whatever. And it kind of keeps them stabilized that way. And it's been a game changer as well. My fiance had know, like she was a wrestling fan when me and her met, and I told her about it, and I was like, I don't do it a lot, but I do like it. And then when I got into it, like she was like, I've got to come out to the garage and like actually watch you do this. And she was blown away, and she's helped me now. She'll sit out there and she'll take pictures for me, so I don't have to worry about trying to like balance my my remote to manually take the picture. That way my camera doesn't move. And she's watched it and she's like, I don't understand. And like she's seen the frustration. She gets frustrated herself if she don't get the picture taken fast enough. And I'm doing like a superplex and they're hanging above the ring or whatever, and they're trying to spin. And she's like, when do I take it? And I'm like, now, please, now. And so she gets anxious too.
Yeah, I can only imagine that, man. Just trying to do that is just I'm surprised you can do it by yourself. I would think that's at least a two-man job, just as you said, someone to snap the pictures and one person to handle the wrestlers.
Yeah. I would honestly prefer somebody be out there with me just to take the pictures. That way I can have both of my hands to be able to do what I need to. Otherwise I'm juggling four pieces of string on certain moves in one hand and trying to take the picture with the other one, trying to get them in their spot, stabilized, not spinning, just right where it needs to be. And it's a pain for sure.
Yeah, and you got to keep your hands and everything else out of line of sight while you're taking pictures too. So you got to hold all this, but then you also got to make sure everything's out of the view of the camera.
Yes.
Man, I can't even imagine that. So, wow, that's crazy. So I'll make sure I share out that YouTube channel as well, because people need to see that, because anybody who does that, you're all crazy. You're all crazy. It's crazy to me that you got that kind of patience and discipline. Like I have patience and discipline too, but man, when I'm editing and stuff, just one thing, I put the wrong thing in the wrong place and I get mad. I can't even imagine if I was trying to do a whole match and then right at the end, I messed up something and the wrestler fell and I couldn't figure out where they were and I had to start all over. No.
Yeah.
Everything, including the camera, the entire garage is now empty.
Yeah. Thankfully I haven't really had them fall at the very end to where it messes everything up. Typically when they fall at the end, like I'm able to get them in close enough place to where I can make their adjustment. And then it's like, okay, it's kind of seamless. Most of the time when I have to scrap everything is right about the quarter of the way done mark. And I've probably gotten 750 to 1,000 pictures done. So that one's, I think, since I haven't had it done at the end, I would say that would be the most frustrating, would be if I'm like 200 pictures away from being done. That would be like just killer. But the 750 to 1,000 at the start is just, it's killer. Like when I have that happen, I won't film for probably a week just to let the frustration die down.
Yeah, a week. Yeah, it's the garage is already burned to the ground, dude. So we're never doing it again. That's what my position on it is. So what else? All right. Well, is there time and anything else in your schedule to do anything more than that, or is that pretty much?
Other than the filming, working on the sequel to the book, and I do custom action figures, custom wrestling action figures.
Your action figures. You said you make action figures too.
Yes. I typically make only independent wrestlers because they don't have their own action figures. Like the AEW guys, the TNA guys, some of the TNA guys, WWE, they all have their own action figure or they're getting one.
Yeah.
The independent guys, they don't. Not unless they make it big, and then even then could be years, or it could be never. Titus O'Neil, for instance, he had two figures made. So, and he was in WWE for a decade. I mean, he's still technically with WWE. But so I like to do independent wrestlers just to give them their flowers, pretty much.
That makes sense. I mean, I do the same thing with I know after we end this episode, I'll probably say the same thing to you, but we do the same thing with apparel because we have our own storefront, Mayhem Media. I know how to run it. I know how to do all that. So, independent wrestlers like Austin and Scott Diamond, we have their exclusive rights on our storefront. If you want to buy their apparel, you go to our storefront and you can pick up any of their apparel. I've created them several designs and worked with them on what they want to have and stuff. So I always try and push it because they're indie wrestlers. They don't have the kind of engine of the WWE or AEW or anything like that. So, I think more indie guys need to try and do that because it's still income. It can bring you in a little bit of money, and getting your name out there is key in the wrestling world.
Absolutely. My favorite thing about the custom action figures is getting it done and sending it to the wrestler and just seeing their expression. Bobby Blaze is one of my favorites reactions that I've had. He's never had a figure made, and before I started training with them, I made the figure, took it to a show with me, and surprised him with it. A lot of them will commission me out to make their own for them. Nice. That way, because most of the time when I make them, they're for my stop motion show. So they don't actually get the figure unless they ask for it.
Yeah.
Then I'll make another one or whatever. I've gotten a 3D printer. So I print 3D heads to make them even more realistic. I'll pull up a picture of their gear and I'll size it down, make decals. Like it's 100% the wrestler, as close to it as I can possibly get.
Yeah, that kind of intricacies, that kind of like dedication, that kind of stuff I understand a little bit more. That part is right up my alley. The motion capture stuff, you're crazy, but making the figures, that sounds more like up my alley. The time and the dedication it takes to try and make it look like, because you want to make it look right.
Yes.
So that's, to me, sounds a little bit more my style. And I agree with you. There's nothing cooler than giving something somebody that they've never had before. I don't want to keep bringing up the diamonds, but Scott Diamond told me he never had a t-shirt or anything with his likeness on it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I made for him was one with his likeness on it, with a picture of him right on the front of the t-shirt. It was one of the very first designs that I made for him.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and then I sent it to him and I'm like, here you go. And he's like, and that's when he told me, he's like, oh, I need one of these. I never had one. Like at the time I built it, I didn't know that he never had his likeness. I just figured all wrestlers, they asked me to make them wrestling gear. So I need to put their likeness on the apparel. That's what I see from AEW and WWE and WCW. Mm-hmm. It's always their face or their likeness or something on the t-shirt. Right. So that's the first place I went to, was like, all right, I'm putting these guys and their faces on the apparel.
Yeah.
So, and then when I sent it to him, he's like, dude, I've never had an apparel with my likeness on it. This is so awesome. So, and that was the coolest thing. That was the coolest part about it, was being able to give him that. He's a 4-time Hall of Famer. He's never had apparel with his likeness on it. So
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And awesome. Their reaction is just everything.
Yeah. That's just similar to when you hand somebody, or like, hey, look at you, and you're holding up the figure.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've had my fair share of like spot on. Like you honestly couldn't tell that I didn't just shrink the wrestler down and make him into a figure. And then I've had my blunders. Brock's Boulder was my first really bad one, and the way he tells it is the best. I made him pregnant pretty much.
Oh,
and it wasn't on purpose. Like I used a Kevin Owens figure to get the size, and he's a shorter guy. So I was like, okay, well, Kevin's 6'1", something like that. And that's way taller than Brock's. And I try, when I make the figures, not only do I want their gear accurate, I want their face accurate, like I want their height accurate. So I was like, okay, I'll use Chad Gable, make him shorter. What I didn't realize was how bad the torso was going to look on the crotch and the legs. And when you looked at it front ways, it looked fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Looked really well. The head was a no-go to begin with. I couldn't really find the one I used was the best thing that I could come up with, and I was planning on 3D printing a head anyway. So it was just kind of a placeholder head, and you turned it sideways, and it was awful.
The sideways view, yeah.
Yes, and of course, like it was before I really knew Brox and before we become friends and everything, so it made it even worse. He definitely kind of took it personal that I was trying to make fun of him, and I wasn't. I was legit just trying to make a size accurate, and I was like, "Yep, never using Chad Gable legs on a bigger guy again."
So he was he actually thought like you were trying to poke fun at him or something.
Yeah, that's what he's told me, and of course, like me and him's had talks about it and everything. I apologize for it because like I didn't want that. I wanted to make him a figure and like have representation of him in my show, and I told him the formula I used, and I was like, definitely going to have to change the formula. And I actually made another figure of him in his grappling ink gear, and which is a gear that I absolutely love to look at. The purple and the yellow is just it just matches so well together, and making the figure made me hate the gear because I try to hand paint as much as possible, and matching their purple to a paint is
shenanigans.
Yes, I have to use a blue.
Wow.
For whatever reason.
I know I color posters. You can see a couple of them behind me here on the wall. They're like fuzzy velvet posters. And the main company that I get 90% of them from, it's a great company. It's called Stuff to Color. Go check them out. They do not just fuzzy velvet posters, but go check them out. But then there's a few other ones. They're not as big, so you can't always find their posters and stuff around. But occasionally I find some from other companies, independent companies or whatever. And they must print them differently because the colors, when I color stuff from Stuff to Color, I know exactly what each of my 150 colored markers, I know exactly what each of them are going to show up as. But if I get a different brand of fuzzy poster, I've gone with like a blue or something, and then it's purple.
Yeah.
Or a purple, and it's like so dark you can't even see it.
Right.
And it's like anytime I switch off of the Stuff to Color posters, anytime I do any from any other vendor, I have to be careful because I can really screw it up if I don't pay attention to what that color is going to look like on the different poster board. You wouldn't think that, but I bet it's the same way with the paint.
Yes, absolutely. I actually got a set of acrylic paint markers off the TikTok shop. Just Art, I think, is the brand. And I watched a video on them, and they're yellows and reds and light blues, like coated really well. First coat, and I was like, yes, I need that. Because the Citadel, the Apple Barrel, there was another paint company that I used that you can get in hobby stores, and I can't remember what the name of it was. But their lighter colors just it takes 4 to 5 coats, and it's just like that's too time consuming. And so I went with that, and the yellow coated really well, but then it like once it dried, it wanted to break. So you have like little break marks in it, and it's like, okay, this sucks. I was like, why did you guys have to use yellow on your gear?
Yeah.
But I used the Powerhouse Hobbs for his second figure and put the 3D printed head, sent it to him after I got it done, and Brox absolutely loved it.
Nice.
I think it's a lot better representation now.
Yeah, good. When you're with the painting and doing the painting, you were just saying you had like a one coat. You had more than one coat, depending on whatever. Does it change the color?
With the paint markers, no. Not that I've seen.
Okay.
Like different. It's kind of like your posters. The different surfaces, changes how they appear. Because the Just Art, when they sent it to me, they sent a little like book to like see what it would come out as.
Yeah.
And I used one paint that looked really good, matched this guy's singlet, and put it on the figure, and it turned out like something totally off. And I was like, okay, that's just not going to work.
Yeah. Sometimes on my posters when I'm coloring, especially not the off brands, I can get like 3 or 4 different colors off of one colored marker, because one coat will make it the color of the marker.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I add a second coat, it makes it like more blue or more purple or more red. And sometimes I can get 2 or 3, 4 colors out of one marker, just the amount of coats that I put on it. Depends on it depends on the poster board. Not every poster is like that, but there are a few that I've gotten where I've colored it and I'm like, that's not dark enough. I needed it to be darker. So I went over it a second time and I'm like, okay, that's looking good. And that's what made me notice that if with certain posters you can add another coat and it kind of changes the color or darkens it, deepens it, I guess is what I'm looking for there. Not necessarily it changes the color, just it deepens it or darkens it and makes it look different. All right. Well, that took that we definitely went off on your figures there for quite a few minutes. So let's bring it back to wrestling before we get ready to close out. June 13th. That's coming up this weekend. Do you remember where it is? I unfortunately don't.
Flatwoods, Kentucky. It's at, I can't remember the full name. I know part of the name is Crager Park. I know if you put it in maps, it pulls it up pretty spot on.
Okay.
We are at their toy and comic book festival. 5 p.m. start bell time. It is a free event. All you gotta do is bring a chair and you're good to go. And you get an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, something like that.
A free show,
wrestling show. Yeah.
How do you guys do that? How do you guys handle that? Or maybe you might not be privy to it or whatever, but I'm just curious about how would you, like, if you're wrestling on the show.
Correct. I'm not entirely sure how it works.
Gotcha.
I was told that tickets are free.
I'll grill Brock's Boulder next time I have him on.
Yes.
I was just out of my sheer curiosity. I was just curious how a free show works for the wrestlers that you have on the card.
Yeah. A lot of us are like, everybody has a different price. So I don't exactly know how it works. I was told the tickets are free. So
everybody has a price.
Yes.
A little Ted DiBiase there for everybody. Well, thank you for coming on. Is there anything that I missed or that you want to talk about, or do you have any other matches other than the 13th coming up?
So I'll be at Aftermath the June 13th, and then July 11th I'll be in Spencer, West Virginia for Route 33.
Route 33. That's where Titan Troy was telling us about Route 33 also. So
yes.
Yeah. So the 11th. Okay. So June 13th, that's coming up this weekend, and then July 11th, if you're in the Kentucky area, look for these shows. Go check out Aftermath Pro. Go follow them on Facebook right now. Are you guys anywhere else or just on Facebook?
We're on Facebook. We're on the Instagram. We're on TikTok.
So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everybody go give them follows on whatever one of these social media platforms that you're on. Go give them a follow. Go give them a shout out. Tell them Mayhem Media sent you. And look for our page. Look on our page. I'll make sure I share out their YouTube channel where their shows are located and stuff, because I think that's one of the big things that puts them ahead of the curve. So with wrestling and mainstream wrestling the way it is today, we have more of it now than we likely did at any point in time, but more wrestling content just means more better business for everybody. The more competition you have, the better the product's going to get. So I'm all for getting these indie companies views and watches, and let's see Aftermath Pro get a TV deal is kind of what I'm saying. Like, let's see some of these indie companies make it and start competing with some of the bigger ones. Everybody's so worried about national and world coverage. It's like, dude, there's an enormous amount of people right here in the United States and in individual states. Start small. Not everything has to be national. Not everything has to be huge.
Yes.
Get in with a company now and help them build and build up, and you'll have something special. So, I just don't get it. There's just such a huge gap between mainstream wrestling and indie wrestling. It's like, how is nobody filling in the middle?
Right. Absolutely.
I just don't get it. And that's what I think you guys are doing with Aftermath Pro. You guys are looking to get in that middle area so that the gap between you and what's on mainstream television is not so big.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to keep shouting you guys out because I think you guys are doing something different than all other indie companies right now, or at least most other indie companies right now. I don't know every indie company in the United States, but most other indie companies, you're doing it different. I think it's going to place you guys ahead in like 2 or 3 years. I think you guys are going to blow some of these other indie companies out of the water.
We definitely appreciate that.
So, well, I'm going to keep saying it as long as you guys keep doing what you're doing. Because I think it's going to take, you guys have good ideas and you guys are ahead of the curve, but it's still going to take the execution and the dedication and the matches that you guys put on to actually make it work, though. So
Absolutely.
You guys have the right pieces in place. Now it's just a matter of you guys, the roster, being able to put on these shows. And so far, I've spoken with a couple of you guys, and I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty happy. I'm ready to watch a show right now. So I already told Brock, so I said, let me know as soon as your next show, your June 13th show or whatever makes it up onto YouTube so that I make sure I catch it and stuff. I live all the way in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, you're not going to get to see me live, but once it gets up on YouTube, I will definitely be checking it out and sharing it out because I want to see what you guys are putting on.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming on. The savior of pro wrestling, Chad Casey, June 13th is when you can see him. And then again on July 11th in the Kentucky area. If you're in that area, look for those shows and check it out. And if you're not, I will check our page and I will be sharing out where they're going to be putting their content. As soon as they start getting it posted up, I'll be sharing it out. So just follow us too, and we'll point you in the right direction. Thank you, Chad Casey. Titan Troy was just on an episode. Make sure you go check that out. Brock's Boulder was the first one to come on an episode, and we hope to have more guys from Aftermath Pro come on episodes over these next few weeks. So we hope to continue the relationship, and go check out what's your YouTube for your motion capture again?
Pac-Man CC 300.
Pac-Man CC 300, and that's Pac P-A-C-K, not
Yes,
like
sir.
Pac-Man. It's Pac P-A-C-K. So make sure you check that out. And do you have it? Is there anywhere they can go to get like wrestling figures or anything?
CC Figures on Facebook, or you can message the Chad Casey Facebook page, the Chad Allen Cartmel page. Any of the 3 pages, honestly, I'll respond to any of it.
And I will be having links to all them in this episode description. So make sure you look to that. I'll be getting all this together and then posting it. So if you need to or want to have your own, and you can hit up Chad Casey yourself, or maybe you want a copy of his book that's sitting back there behind him, and maybe you want to give that a read. So a Renaissance man, as I was saying to someone else in another episode, but that's definitely where you classify taking on all these different things. And writing and wrestling, though, that's not 2 things you think. That's
no.
If I pick 2 things that didn't go together, those would probably be towards the top of the list. Wrestling and reading. That's not something you expect.
No, not at all.
Or not even reading, writing. Wrestling and writing a book, not even reading it. Well, I assumed you read your own book. Now I'm just being humorous. So it's time to leave because I'm getting tired. So we're going to wrap this up. Marcus Frederiksen plays the music. He plays us in and out of every episode. Make sure you go check him out, reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen. We keep his music alive, even though he is no longer with us. Go listen to a song and share out your favorite. Tag us so that we can see what your favorite song is. Shout out to everybody else on the Mayhem team: Connor Clarkson, the Wolfman, Ms. Pa, Mayhem Ecto, and of course Austin and Scott Diamond. Thank you guys. We wouldn't be where we are without all of your guys' help, so I appreciate all you guys as well. And Brock's Boulder, keep sending me more people. Keep sending more wrestlers to Mayhemtainment. So we'll keep showcasing these guys. And Chad Casey, I can't wait to have you on again. This has been a great conversation. And I can't wait to do some maybe some work episodes with you where we can actually get the actual savior of pro wrestling on to do it.
Absolutely. He He's more than happy to come on.
Yeah, and what's great is I'm portrayed by everybody that surrounds me as the bad guy. So I don't have a choice in the matter. So I have to be a heel because that's what people want to see. So we're gonna have a real great episode, heel to heel.
Yes. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's do it again real soon. And like I said, keep me posted on your dates. If you get another date besides July 11th coming up or something that you want to do another episode before then to hype the show, make sure you let me know anytime. And I'll be glad to have you on to hype whatever
Absolutely.
shows you, whether it's Aftermath Pro or one of the other companies that you're working with. It don't matter to me. So just let me know and I'll be absolutely love to have you on.
All right, man. That sounds great.
All right. Check out the last thing. Check out the storefront. It's at the top of the screen there. Bonfire.com/store/Mayhem Media Shop. Pick yourself up some apparel. I'm still waiting on my new gear. I've ordered it. It's just, there's nothing I can do. I was the last. I ordered my gear the last. Everybody else has received their gear. I'm still waiting on mine, but go and buy yourself some new gear. We have all new designs and stuff for everybody. So go check it all out, including the diamonds. And that is where we're going to end this. For Chad Casey, I am the bad guy, JD, and that's the end.